Wait, do you ever think about what it was like to be the first guy who made bread? Because, like, I can cook a little bit, you know? Like, it's at a level where, like, it's acceptable as nourishment for me and my household. But, like, if you were a guest and you came over to my house, I would probably order pizza. We would probably just have some Chinese food, unless you're, like, really allergic to that. That would suck. But anyways, like I've been watching these like Instagram videos and these TikToks that people send me of like people baking stuff, and the like if I think about it, the whole reason I would even attempt to cook bread is because I know it's possible, right? I saw someone on Instagram do it and it looked great and I want to eat that, and I know that if I tried really, really hard and I followed the steps and I like learned how to do it real good, I would also have a beautiful piece of cloud bread for my non-existent Instagram presence. But, like, the first guy who made bread didn't know bread existed, and that's what confuses me, you know? Like, there's so many steps in baking of, like, the different ratios. It's a whole science. Baking is, like, a whole science that someone had to figure out, and it's so hard for me to picture what that would have been like, just, like, sitting on the dirt next to a campfire, and you, like... I don't even know. You, like, put some wheat in a bowl, and you're like, I bet this is edible. It doesn't taste great right now. Maybe if I moosh it up. And then you do that, and it's like a little white powder or whatever. And, like, how do you go from that to bread? How do you then be like, oh, I'll mix some of this other white powder from this sugary thing in here. And then also, I'm gonna just pray to the yeast gods, and then they'll just, like... put some stuff in there. You know how hard it is to proof yeast, okay? Like, I can make a pizza dough, but I use beer because it's easier. I used to use bread yeast when I was baking. It was just too hard. The yeast would die, or it would be weird, or it would sink to the bottom, and I could never figure it out. And I'd end up with, like, bread that was semi-rock-like, or not bread. So yeah, how did the first guy just like put a bunch of stuff in a bowl and then figure like the proofing thing? How did they figure that out? How? Because like if I was experimenting with trying to make something and I mooshed it all together, I wouldn't be like, oh, I should let this like sit and do its thing, and then punch it a bunch to undo whatever that did, and then redo that again. You know, like. How did that happen? Was that by accident? Did he just walk away? Did he also have ADHD? And he was like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. And, oh, shit, I forgot. I was making that weird moosh ball thing. I should go back to that. Oh, look, it's higher. Now I should punch it. Just like, see what happens. My brain really likes these crinkly noises that it's doing. What was that? And then at some point, they were like, oh, I wonder what I should do with this ball of... white pillow. What if I put it over the fire? And then they did that, and then like how would you know when it was done? Because you've never seen the bread didn't exist 2 minutes before you did this. So then like how did you know? How did you have bread? And then at some point the bread was finished and they took it off and they were like, that was great, I'm gonna make more of that. You know, like it's stuff like that is fascinating to me about humans and like how far we've come as a species. There's so many things that we take for granted because everybody around us knows how to do them, and we've been taught for years and years and years how to do that thing, like cooking or baking or I don't even know. There's so many things. But like somebody had to do it first. And how did they do that? Like, the extent of my experimentation with cooking is like when you figured out you could mix the ice cream together with a spoon and then it'd be super smooth and it'd be kind of like a neat texture. I could do that. I could be that guy. I could be the first person that figured that out. Or like you crumple up some cookies and you put them in a milkshake. I'm realizing all of my experimentations involve milkshakes. Yeah, what was that like? I really want to know. And, like, there's just no way you can tell. Because at this point, we all know. But, yeah, like, I personally... I struggle with motivation. It would be hard for me to get really into baking as a concept if I didn't really know it was possible. And I was just like trying stuff out to see if it would do anything. There's a whole level of creativity to cooking that people have, and I don't know where that comes from, but I love that. So yeah, I thought it would be cool to put together a little bit of a compilation of just like cool baking and food stuff that I saw, because I'm getting really into cooking, and like it's a slow uphill battle, but like I find it inspiring. You know, sometimes I'll just put on Kitchen Nightmares and cook some food, and it makes me feel better about myself, because at least I am trying to cook things. You know, I'm doing it. I'm doing the stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for some cooking videos, that's what this is gonna be. I hope you enjoy.
If I vomit, Sophie, this is your fault. These are the preserved lemons that Sophie ate, which I'm now gonna try myself. I come prepared. That's strong. That's real strong. Oh my God. Why do we do these things? Like, why? No, that's not right.
My roommate was out of town last week, so I had no one to feed. Luckily, my neighbors came in clutch and said they'd eat my food. Day 1, carnitas tacos. Day 2, pulled pork nachos.
That's barbecue pulled pork nachos.
Thank you.
Day 3, barbecue pulled pork sandwich.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Of course. Hope you enjoy.
Day 4, noodle-filled biscuits and pulled pork biscuits.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
15-course Michelin star meal. This restaurant only has 7 tables, a tiny kitchen in the middle of it all. It feels like you're dining in someone's home and is one of the best restaurants I've dined at. Sons and daughters. I want you to picture the most succulent lamb you've ever eaten, heaping piles of caviar, and 3 different bread courses, which for me is amazing because I am a sucker for incredible bread and butter. You get free drinks, wax-sealed letters, food to eat with your hands, and so much more. I don't want to hear how small the courses are because there are 15 of them, all magnificent, and by the end I literally couldn't eat another bite. But what you're also paying for is perfection in service. We started the night with a handwritten note from the entire team congratulating us on our new jobs, and throughout the night the service was the most thoughtful I've seen. With incredible food and impeccable service, if you haven't tried a meal like this before, it's an experience worth saving up for.
So this is for anybody who's made friends on TikTok or any other social media platform. Why is it that the ones that you vibe with the best are the ones who live the furthest away? Like, all I want to do is have dinner, invite you over, hang out, and I can't even do that because you fucking live in bumblefuck.
So I asked you guys what you call this, and it made me realize how many cultures have this delicious flaky flatbread. I ended up making it with some cilantro and garlic butter, and oh my god, you guys have to try it. It gave it this beautiful crispy exterior and soft interior. You can find the written recipe on my Instagram. The dough is made with just flour, hot water, a pinch of salt, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. After you make the dough, let it rest for a few minutes and then form them into equal sized small balls. You should have enough to make about 4. I roll each ball out into a really thin rectangle, spread my garlic butter mixture on top, and then roll it into a log kind of like you would with cinnamon rolls. Then you're going to want to stretch out the log and form it into a spiral. This is going to give you lots and lots of layers and it's going to make it really flaky. Let it sit for 5 minutes and then roll it out into a circle, brush some more garlic butter on top, and then cook it with about a tablespoon of oil on a hot pan. Look how delicious that looks.
You guys have been wanting me to do just the cream itself, so here it is. This one ends up just being vanilla rolled ice cream, but this one rolls better than any other since there's no mix-ins to mess with anything. It's also really satisfying to spread out because it feels so velvety. I never would have thought in a million years that we would hit 200K in under 2 months, so I'm incredibly grateful for all of you. And you know the drill, it's time to roll. And all that's left is to throw it in the cup. The 200K special of us flipping a cup of water upside down on the machine will be coming tonight. I'm not trying to give away any spoilers, but let's just say I have one less cup than I did yesterday, so drop a follow so you don't miss it.